your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID, and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. And Owens Crossroads, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 326 Sutton Road very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove, and soon in Owens Crossroads.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Tom Abraham back from my friend Ross Roberts at Valley Equipment Rental. It's springtime, so let's get that garden tilled with a tiller from Valley Equipment. And while you're at it, snag a power washer for the house and the driveway. And if you're putting in a sprinkler system, they have the small trencher that you need. And you can even rent a Skag zero-turn mower and much more to get your property in shape. Valley Equipment, not just for the contractor, but the homeowner as well. 2 locations on the North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Here's 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you go. We're back. We're live. Of course, we're brand new because it's a Tuesday. We're off and running. Talking Ball at 97.7 ESPN, the Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Happy Wednesday morning. I said Tuesday, but happy Wednesday morning. Your high today, 87 degrees. Currently 73 as you get a jump start on your day. Don't forget, with those temperatures starting to climb, now is a good time to give our friends from Talon Heating and Air a call. 256-503-4490. Let their talent do a little work for you. If you give them a call right now, you could save yourself some money. Get a tune-up in there before everything goes kerplunk and the temperatures get real hot, and then you don't have any AC. Thomas, Terry, Jeremy, give them a call and get that tune-up done. Your HVAC maintenance, it's critical. It is. Give them a call today. We trust them. They do work for us. TalentHVAC.com, 256-503-4490. Got a lot of stuff to get through today on a Wednesday. Major League Baseball, college baseball, little college football conversation. Got a lot of stuff to cover in just a short amount of time. But we do start you off with some Major League Baseball from last night. The Atlanta Braves, New York Mets, big series in Atlanta. Now, these two are going to play a lot against each other over the next month and a half. In fact, they got 6 more games against each other in 9 days. Atlanta Braves have a little hole to dig out, and last night they started digging themselves out of it at Truist Park.
Big crowd, over 36,000, and the pitch swung on, lifted into center field and deep. On the run, Taylor. That's going to be deep enough. He makes the catch right up against the wall, but tagging and scoring and winning are the Atlanta Braves. Austin Riley put a charge and one and almost hit it out of here in a deep sac fly, and the Braves walk it off in an amazing comeback win against the Mets.
There you go. That call courtesy of the Atlanta Braves Radio Network. Braves get it done at home. And if you take that win last night and you add it to the win total, the Braves have won 24 of 34 from the Mets going back to 2022. They've outscored the Metropolitans 205 to 135 in that span. And Atlanta has won the series against the Mets every year since 2018. And if they're going to get themselves back into the NL East race, winning the season series against the Mets is crucial.
It is, and I'm glad that was recorded because that's the biggest win of the season. And tagging and winning, we hadn't heard that too much. It's usually been puke, and the bullpen blows another one, and then they strike out with 3 straight hitters with the bases loaded and can't get a big hit. But they finally did last night. Ozuna with a bases clearing double tied the game at 4 in the 8th, and then as you just heard there, Austin Riley comes through with the sac fly. Now we also, and let's not forget this too, in the 9th inning, in the top of the 9th. What a play by the Ronald Acuna, who has played like an MVP since he came back from the second ACL, made a leaping catch, against the wall to rob Pete Alonso, and then they doubled off Juan overrated Soto, who didn't, of course, shocker Scott, he did not know where the ball was, so he got doubled off because he's a moron who is completely overpaid. And I'm glad the Braves, I wouldn't touch that guy with a 10-foot pole and pay him $40 million a year to be a lazy ass bum.
Yeah,
which is.
Well, no, I mean, he got called out earlier in the year, and I mean, he had a great year with the Yankees last year. He's had some great years with the Nats in the past, and even San Diego.
But it's hot and cold.
But he and Manny Machado, like I say, I wouldn't want anything to do with either one of them because I don't think they play hard all the time, and they're both supremely talented. But the Braves took advantage of another Soto mental error, doubled him off, and then won the game in the 10th inning. So that was a huge first win. Certainly, hopefully he can get them going on a streak. They've been playing a little bit better, even though that, game 3 against Colorado was just an abomination. But still, I mean, take what you can get,
right,
and try to. And the old adage is win series. And you just talked about the Braves' success since 2022 against the Mets, and hopefully that can continue, and they can have a good week against the Mets, because, like you said, this next week and a half, they're going to see a ton of the Metropolitans, and it's actually kind of funny that they haven't played in the regular season until now. Being in the same division, it's like,
well, remember, Major League Baseball redid the schedule so that you face your divisional opponents heavier in the back half of the season.
Yeah,
and so that's why the Braves are going to see the Mets a lot, and if they can. I mean, think about it. You that win last night, I know it sounds crazy, but that win last night puts you 12 games back of the Mets.
Yeah.
12 games back. You're 6.5 back of the wild card. But since you are going to see the Mets 6 more times in the next 9 days, 6 games, if you can find a way somehow to win 4 or 5 more of those 6 against the Mets and trim that deficit down, all of a sudden, Alex Anthopoulos now has a huge decision to make because that falls well before July 31st, which is the trade deadline.
Well, he should already be mulling over all of that because the bullpen is atrocious and it's all his fault.
Let guys go.
Well, let guys go, sign the wrong ones, not making the right moves. I mean, I think we all could tell in the first month Raisel Iglesias had lost it. So, I mean, you keep going to the well. Well, the well's dry. So figure it out.
But he pitched very well last night.
Well, it is what it is. But
he's a key cog in all this.
I still say if he's going to resurrect himself the second half of the season, it'll have to be as a setup guy, and you go get a closer, or maybe you got a young kid that grows into his own. We were all hoping for some Craig Kimbrell nostalgia. They gave up on that in an inning, so he's gone. Still don't understand that. I'd still like to get Anthopoulos, on the phone and be like, "Why did you give up on him in an inning?
One inning.
Just go there and talk about it." I mean, because guess what? 2021 is 4 years ago. So if your ass doesn't hurry up and fix this, you can hit the bricks. You know what I'm saying? Because most of this is your fault. It's not Snit's fault. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, that's what we went over the numbers yesterday.
Everybody always wants to fire the manager. They always wanted to fire Bobby Cox because he couldn't win the World Series. It's hard to win the World Series. You've had two Braves managers in history that have done it, and it's Bobby Cox and Brian Snitker. I don't think it's Snit's fault. I think it's the roster you're given by the general manager. And trust me, I know John Schuerholz and Cox work together, but look, they won 14 division titles in a row. That has to count for something, and they've been on that kind of streak now. And Anthopoulos, for the most part, has done a good job, but I don't think he did as good a job in this past offseason. So, that's why they have the trade deadline. You need to try to figure some things out and help this ball club at least make a wild card run. I to be honest, I don't expect them to win the division. I think that's a little bit much considering how far out they are, but that's why they have these wild cards now. You can still get in the playoffs, and to be honest with you, the division championships are great, but they don't mean as much as they used to, because guess what? It's about how hot you are when you get in. It's not about now it used to be you had to win the division to get in. So that's why it was so important. But now it's all about just trying to qualify for the postseason, be hot and win series. So the Braves, the season isn't over. I know.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I know I've acted like it was just because, well, first of all, I can't watch it. So, our great friend Will Miller, who's a huge Braves fan too, we talked Braves with him the other day, besides Bama baseball for Bama Central. He texted me last night, best win of the season. And of course, I had seen they were rallying.
Not because you can't, not because you don't want to.
Okay,
that's what it is. It's not because you don't want to watch it because of the
getting
bad
screwed
news.
over by Xfinity. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. I'm putting my life out here. I'm getting screwed because when they switched to FanDuel, I had the Braves on Xfinity all those years. But now that they've switched to FanDuel, those idiots have decided that I need 2 horse racing channels, and that they want to make me pay for FanDuel Southeast to watch the Braves, which is utter horse manure. So if you're listening, Comcast, you need to fix that, because that's utter crap. I don't need the same channel twice. I pay enough already. Fix it.
Have you gotten good at watching horse racing?
I don't watch it. I hate it. That's for Dan Woken to cover. I don't cover it. Could give a rat's crap. Probably upset another Karen this morning. Didn't like us to said ass. Oh, well. Boo hoo hoo. Go vote for Joe or Kamala Harris.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that's your Major League Baseball conversation. Mets atop the East as we start today, 45-28. Phillies 43-30. Braves 32-39. Behind the Braves, Nats and Marlins. 256-576-4977. You can reach us throughout the morning. We do have a lot of conversation to get through. College baseball news and notes from.
Shocker! The SEC's got 2 of the Final 4. Shocked.
I tell you what, let's slip in Let's slip in Pat from Tuscaloosa real fast. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning, guys. Hey, cut the cable, man. Go to high-speed internet and stream in what you want to pay for. It's ridiculous with Comcast. Anyway, guys, we got my quarterback that I talked about a month ago or better. Hey, he's at the Elite 11. He signed in last night. I'm anxious to see how he does with the T-shirt All-Americans that, as you so call them, and I agree with you, yes, T-shirt All-Americans. But if he was throwing against T-shirt All-Americans on a film that I watched from up in Omaha, Nebraska, that he had the 5 best players in the state of Nebraska on his high school team.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah, he the overall competition he competes against isn't what you see in the state of Alabama, Florida, California, things of that nature. But certainly he put up 47 touchdowns, 3 picks, and as I've said on the show, if you watch his basketball film, he's much more athletic than you would think. I am intrigued to see how he does. I saw a few highlights yesterday as far as in the early parts of the Elite 11. He's going to come back for his official visit this weekend to Alabama. I thought it was interesting. I thought he might not flip until after the official visit. He flips beforehand. So credit to Nick Sheridan, credit to Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb, all those guys to continue to work that situation and get him flipped from Iowa State and Matt Campbell. And they've got a pretty good eye for quarterbacks themselves. They got Brock Purdy, and he's already played in 2 Super Bowls and broke every record at Iowa State. So I think it's a good get for Alabama, especially considering it's still this early in the cycle. We'll see if they go after a second QB because there's a couple of situations. Ty Simpson could be a one and done if he puts up, Heisman type numbers in this system this year. And then we know, that with the QB rooms, Keelan Russell is certainly a guy that they are very high on. But then Austin Mack, will he stay another year? So they may need a second QB. It's very hard, as you know, Pat, to get 2 quarterbacks in one class. But we've seen Georgia do it, even though at the very last minute they did lose Riola, but we'll see. I think they'll still keep working the situation. And the good thing, I'm sure they've been up front with Jet, and then, they've got plenty of time to decide if that's the direction they want to go this year or if that's something they would look at more toward 2027.
Yeah. This is an exciting deal, but having him back on campus this weekend,
right?
Whenever you've got Cedric Morgan coming in, and Darian Morgan coming in, and you've got this is a major recruiting weekend, and to have a quarterback in place that is, I think, a really big deal. And I think that's probably why this all happened like this. And so I'm excited to see how he performs at the Elite 11. So we shall see. Cream rises to the top most of the time.
It does, Pat, and it'll be interesting to see if with the Tristan Keys situation and him claiming that Alabama, told him to hold off on the visit, if this is a Desmond Claude deal where I think Alabama told Desmond Claude to reschedule his visit because they were trying to work on getting LeBaron Philon back in the fold, which they did. Then they, of course, stopped recruiting Claude. He ended up at Washington. It'll be interesting with Keys. It may just be a situation where they think they really like where their wide receiver recruiting is. You just mentioned C.D. Morgan, top prospect in the state from Benjamin Russell, coming in this weekend. I know they really like Brian Williams Jr. Both those guys are going to commit around the same time. And so we'll see. And I don't think that I think the wide receiver group as a whole, just simply because you look at who they have on the 2 deep this year, I certainly Jeremy Bernard is going to be done. And then we'll see if Isaiah Horton is an early entry guy, but they don't need a ton of receivers in this class. It'll probably be 2 to 3, and Tristan Keys may just be too expensive with what he's wanting with NIL.
Yeah, but you got to make sure that you got Morgan in the fold for darn sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what they're going to be trying to lock down this weekend, because certainly Florida has taken a big swing. Auburn has continued to recruit the young man, but I think they like where they are. And you made a good point about Jet being in town to, help continue to recruit CD.
Yep. Gotcha. Y'all have a blessed day. That a blind squirrel gets a nut. Hey, when I picked out that quarterback a month or so ago, a blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while.
Appreciate it, Pat.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right, let's get our first break in. When we come back, we'll head to Omaha, talk a little college baseball, and we got SEC football conversation.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are back for 12 games in 13 days at Toyota Field, starting June 10th through the 22nd. The back-to-back homestands contain 5 giveaway nights, 4 post-game fireworks shows, 2 brand new team identities, and the in-park debut of the number 57 Trash Pandas race car. Get your tickets for the double homestand now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our Workhorse Special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. But hurry, this offer is only good through June 30th. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor. We're here for you.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
So after the opening weekend of the NCAA baseball tournament, the SEC was getting piled on social media and raked over the coals because of their underperformance or their underwhelming performance in the regionals. You go through super regionals and everyone's laughing again at the SEC because, and in college baseball, the SEC, it just means more and it just means more losses. They're just getting piled on. Well, it's kind of funny how when the dirt is all raked out and
What's
sifted
2 out of 4 in that 50%?
And and all of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute, the SEC is right back to where it all worked out for the 8th consecutive time, and 16 out of the last 17 tournaments, the SEC will advance to the Men's College World Series Finals and play for the national championship. Now,
that's another great point, Scott. That means 2 out of 4 is 50%.
Yep.
And the SEC, they decided to put it on the same sides. That means an SEC team will play for the national championship.
One team has made the semis from the Southeastern Conference in 21 of the last 25 seasons at Omaha, and the SEC can account for 75% of the championship series in the last 8 seasons.
And once again, we know we're not thrilled about Texas being in this league because they're a bunch of maggot, arrogant pukes, most of them. But they did win the softball, correct?
Correct.
For the first time ever?
Correct.
And they had to be in the what league to do it?
Southeastern Conference.
And out of the Bush Leagues?
Because they beat a team from the Bush Leagues who now has decided to go out and buy everybody available.
And I still think they'll choke and not win it.
But we go back to Omaha, and the SEC again, when it's all said and done, the SEC usually rises, and they are this year again.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to stick to my original picks. I made them on the Blitz with Joe and John, and it's going to take the next 2 days, it's going to take a yeoman's effort. But I picked Arkansas and Coastal to be in the finals. And so
right.
Arkansas still got a lot of arms. They only had to use, 3 yesterday to win the elimination game against a really good UCLA team. And they were 3 outs from throwing back-to-back shutouts coming off of the no-hitter. That it was just an unbelievable performance for the Hogs in that 3-0 win, where they were able to stave off elimination and send Murray State home. So I just think overall they're playing really well right now. Of course, LSU's undefeated, and they may come back with Andrew Ianson tonight because he pitched the other day, and as we all know, it rained and the game was delayed, and they had to finish off that game yesterday 9-5 to beat UCLA. And Ianson did not come back. So now that they have won that game, he could pitch tonight, or they may hold him for the what if game if they have to play Arkansas again. So LSU is still in the driver's seat here, but I do think when you look at the pitching staff, and we're going to talk to Andrew Ellis of Inside Arkansas at the bottom of the second hour to get his thoughts on it. But I still think Arkansas is in a pretty strong place here. I think they if anybody can beat LSU twice in 2 days, I think Arkansas is equipped to do it. They know their personnel really well, and I think they have the pitching depth and the up and down lineup depth to do it as well. So we'll see. And then Coastal, I still think they're in the catbird seat here.
They play Louisville today at 1:00. Louisville,
not Louisville. Carl Ravitch is brutality. Brutality. He is absolutely horrendous. I was trying to listen last night.
Well, he keeps getting Arkansas and Arizona mixed up. He had Arizona. He had Arkansas bowing out. So they showed a graphic last night, and they had Arizona eliminated and Murray State eliminated. And he said Murray State and Arkansas have been eliminated. And someone's like, Arkansas just.
What time is it, Carl? What are you watching, Carl? I mean, good grief. You're 81-81. You're not very good against your conference. Isn't very good. You dumbass. The guy is absolutely horrendous. He is one of the worst broadcasters in the world for what he is paid. He and Tom Hart should go have a party. They both suck.
Yeah, and the only college baseball that he does is during the College World Series.
Oh, and you can tell it.
And you know what? And then so he leaves. They had him. They took a break from the College World
Get
Series.
rid of him and get rid of Eduardo Perez. Let them both go back to doing baseball tonight.
And they
covering
did.
the major leagues.
They
Get
sent them out on
hell
Sunday. They sent him out on Sunday to do Sunday baseball for ESPN.
Where's Ben McDonald?
And then they brought him back.
Huh. I mean, Carl, what would you do here? Well, what did you eat at Subway? I mean, this guy is just so bad. I mean,
well, anyway, you can listen to him at 1:00.
I wouldn't mute it and listen to Westwood 1.
6:00, you get LSU in Arkansas. You can listen to him there.
Gee, who's the other guy? Mike Monaco, is that his name?
Yeah.
Get him the hell back in there, because you can tell he knows what college baseball is.
I think they had to do it on Sunday when Ravitch and all
He's
them
done
went.
several of the games, and you can tell a difference once they put Ravi Boy back in there. I mean, good grief. He's not even any good at calling major league games, though. Just put his butt in the baseball tonight setting and leave him there.
Oh, we need Joe Morgan and
John Miller.
John Miller back. Yes, indeed.
The late, God rest his soul, Joe Morgan. God, Lord Almighty, where have we fallen?
To Carl Ravitch.
And we've fallen. Look, I'm giving Chris Berman a hard time for doing play-by-play because he's not very good at it.
No. I don't like Chris Berman on
Chris
baseball
Berman
either.
A tremendous studio host, and I think Ravitch does a decent job with
Yes.
baseball tonight. Just get him away from play-by-play.
Yes.
He's not any good at it.
It's almost like he is doing a studio host play-by-play job.
Give me Ben McDonald. Give me Kyle Peterson. At least Peterson's in the booth, so I can stomach it. Because at least I can tell that he knows college baseball, for crying out loud.
Oh, my goodness. All right.
I mean, if anybody agrees or disagrees, give us a call. 256-576-4977. But if anybody thinks Carl Ravitch is good at play-by-play, it must be his aunt.
You know how we were getting those toll texts? Those.
Oh, yeah.
So I got a new one the other day.
What was it?
The number is just, the number is plus 549-261-272-3442.
Okay.
That's the number on the thing.
What do you owe for?
It says Alabama Department of Motor Vehicles final notice. Enforcement penalties begin on June 11th. According to our records, your traffic violation remains unpaid.
Gotcha.
Under Alabama Code 15C-16.003, if your fine is not settled by June 10th, the following penalties will be enforced.
Wow.
Reporting a violation to DMV records.
Mm-hmm.
Vehicle registration suspended from June 11th. Yeah. License suspended for 30 days. And a debt collection referral, 35% extra fee. Yeah. And then possible court action and credit damage, immediate payment required.
And if you follow the link, it'll take you to Pakistan, right?
And then it says resolve now to prevent enforcement. Reply why and reopen this message to click the link or copy it to your browser.
Yeah, copy it to your browser via Pakistan or India.
So they can take all my money.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I better do it though, so I don't get.
I get 2 calls a day now, between sometimes during the show, most of the time after.
Hunter Royer just text us. You ready for this?
Oh, God.
And I quote, Coach, I'm going to quote you.
Okay.
This is quote, hell, Grady got the same text, 13 years old.
Oh, my God, Grady the Great. That's awesome. If it wasn't going to give his, his phone like some sort of virus, it would probably just crack it. He ought to respond and say, hey, moron, I'm 13 years old. I'm Grady the Great. Now, PG language here, G language, no bad language, but hey, You know what I'm saying? But what I was gonna say is, it's now like clockwork.
Yes.
Like either during the show or right after, I get the first call, and then during the afternoon after lunch, I get the second call. It always says potential spam. Sometimes I'll answer it just for the hell of it. There'll be silence, then a click. Hello. My name is Kim. Hello. And then I just hang up, because it's just another scammer trying to rip you off in India. That's all it is. Go on YouTube and check it out. Check out some of these scammer channels. They're classics. They make them so. I like it when they throw it back at them, make them so angry. No, you're supposed to go buy a gift card for $480.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the latest text. Be careful out there, folks. Don't copy the link and paste it.
Don't
do that. Don't
Way
do
to be
it.
smart, Grady.
13 years old. He's got to get his license taken away.
Kid doesn't even drive for 2 years. Doesn't have a license for 3.
When can you get your permit? Is it 14?
15.
Is it 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead, Ahab the Arab's trying to rob him.
All right. We got to get a break in. College football conversation coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather, brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. It's going to feel like it's in the mid 90s, dropping into the lower 70s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
You guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case.
We'll take care of it.
The Lackey Law Firm, 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
I'm Abraham here for Valley Equipment Rental. You know, if you're a contractor installing fences, you need Valley Equipment Rental for augers of all sizes. And if you need a forklift to get those shingles up high on a roof, Valley Equipment has 10K lifts that reach to 56 feet. Valley also has tow-behind lifts that have a working height of 35 to 55 feet as well for power washing those two-story homes or doing whatever else you need to do. Lifts, forklifts, tow-behind lifts, 35 feet and up. They have your lift at Valley Equipment Rental. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bono's Land.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. Weekday morning starting at 9 a.m. on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Wednesday morning it is, 7:38 your time. Safe travels into work wherever you may be headed on this Wednesday. 256-576-4977. That's the number to join us, and that is where we will go because Richard is with us this morning. Good morning, Richard.
Morning.
Morning, guys. So Drew's the head of the Carl Ravitch fan club then?
Yes, he is. He will be hosting a barbecue on July 3rd in honor of Carl Ravitch. We will have Carl Ravitch and Phil Fulmer on the show that day.
Well, you won't have any food left if you got Fulmer coming in. So,
or we'll be eating Subway if it's Ravitch.
I think I showed Drew my picture. I went up to the basketball game this year in Knoxville, and we had terrible seats. And me and my buddies, and we saw 3 seats at midcourt open, and we got in there and sat in them. And about halftime, my buddy, and Drew knows my buddy Dick, he starts pointing in front of me. Fulmer was sitting in front of me with, I guess, his daughter and his grandson.
Of course, he gets mid-court seats.
Yeah, so I got to sit by Phil. Talking about the Braves, and I do get them on TV, but by the time I sit down on the time change difference, being all the games are on Eastern time, usually the games are over. But basically, it's a large corporation owns the team. They're close to the luxury tax, and they spent most of their money on the starting players.
Right.
They're not all producing out, and almost all the bench, and the relievers aren't even, I guess you would say, free agents, but they were free agents basically dumped. I mean, you don't have one big money free agent that you signed last year. I mean, these guys are all a bum wouldn't be the right word, but players nobody else really wanted, and the only other option is your farm team. And really, since drawing a blank on the third baseman's name,
Austin
Riley.
Austin Riley.
Yeah, Riley and the center fielder. They've come up. They really haven't done it. The catcher. Yep. The catchers. Come up this year, but basically the farm team is nothing. So you have trouble making a trade. You don't want to spend any more money. You don't have a good farm team to kind of supplement as a backup player. So they're going out and getting rejects from the other team. And so you got 5 or 6 really good players. Really, the pitching's been decent.
Yeah,
starting pitching.
The starting pitching.
Everybody else is is basically people nobody else wanted.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, Drake Baldwin has been kind of a revelation. They did go out and trade and sign Sean Murphy to that huge deal. And when he's been healthy, he's been good. But the problem is he hasn't been healthy. Ozuna's been what turned out, even though there's been bumps with his off the field stuff, but he has actually produced and lived up to his contract. But you're right, Michael Harris, after a promising start this year has been, horrendous with the bat. He has not been good. A guy that they drafted and developed. Ronald Acuna, he just continues to get hurt. That has certainly not helped, even though he's playing well right now.
I said, you don't have any backups behind them is the thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's not a, they just haven't been able to, their farm system in the last few years has not, produced as much as they would like. Because really, honestly, when you go back and look at the Braves' success since the early 90s, it was about drafting and developing, and then, every now and then going out and getting a Greg Maddux or adding someone via free agency.
That's the difference. See, Turner, when he owned the team, and I actually lived over there.
Right.
He would spend, money. Usually they would get one free agent a year. They'd go out, and then at the trading deadline, they weren't, you'd get Galarraga, McGriff.
McGriff,
go out and get somebody, because they weren't scared to spend money. And like I said, these guys, and it's a large corporation, and I've told you guys on the air before, this, and the thing about this corporation is kind of stupid. They own all the buildings around the stadium, so the more they win, the more you're going to, all your restaurants and everything around there, and your hotels are going to do better.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to work at a company. We sold baby products like baby shampoo and stuff.
Yeah.
And this company that we were selling to went bankrupt, and basically the company that owned the Braves came in and bought like 7 of these bankrupt. Why would you need a baby, store selling baby beds and baby, lotion and stuff? Because I remember my boss goes, this company went bankrupt on us. Do we want to sell to this new group or not? I said, well, they own the Braves. This was years ago. I said, I don't think we have to worry about Liberty Media. But like I said, I don't even know if the Braves are, what they care about.
Yeah, that's well. There's always been some grinding of the teeth with Liberty Media because they have not been as
frugal, or they
have been. They haven't been as willing to spend money as Ted Turner was. And we've always talked about because guess what? If the Braves were still on Turner Broadcasting, I wouldn't be missing them. I would be able to watch every damn game. But
well, and also, guys, remember Jurickson Profar. He did have his minor league start. And he is as soon as he is eligible
July 2nd
to come off the suspension list, he is going to be back. Yeah. And he's playing in the minors.
The one thing on him is they signed him as a free agent and his contract's like $3 million, which is like now somebody working at McDonald's. I mean, it's comparable. $3 million in Major League Baseball for 1 year is like, working at McDonald's. I mean, when you got guys, making 10, 20, 30 million. So to me, that unfortunately, that's a bargain basement signing.
Well, they did that with Orlando Arcia before they let him go. They signed him a couple years ago to a 3-year, $6 million contract, and they've just not really. Vaughn Grissom, they decided to trade. They have not been able since they decided not to pay Dansby Swanson and let him go to Scott's Cubs. They have not been able to solve the long-term shortstop riddle.
Yeah. So like I said, you're hoping, you could get some, cheap talent from the farm system, and it just hadn't, they're not able to get, any talent up, from the farm system. And on part of it is, they're drafting late because they're good most years. So, they're not drafting, but still you got 30 rounds, you would think you would get lucky and develop a few guys. But like I said, most of these guys, the relievers and the bench guys are all just kind of who. You probably can't name 5 of the bench guys.
Right.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for the phone call, Richard.
Later.
All right. Thanks. Yeah. I'll tell you what, 7:45 in. Let's get a break in. We will get to some college football conversation next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a back compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
This is Steve Moulton for Tellini's Italiano. Tellini's Italiano is located right in front of the Walmart, right off of University, behind the McDonald's. More or less catty corner from Topgolf. It's one of my favorite places to go to, and if you go there, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to try the baked spaghetti, add a meatball. Also try the baked ziti with meat sauce, add sausage. You'll thank me. Save room for some pizzas and paninis as well. And don't forget about dessert as well. The best cheesecake I have had here in North Alabama is at Tellini's Italiano. Find out for yourself today. That's Tellini's Italiano, right off of University Drive in front of the Walmart. Located online at Tellinis.com. That's TELLINIS.com. Let's get some Tellini's tonight.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
All right, we're counting it down. 66 days, 4 hours, 9 minutes, and 47 seconds. Well, now 45 seconds. Until the start of the 2025 college football season. We're counting it down.
We are. We got another text, Scott.
What's this one?
From one of our listeners. He said, these people that are texting or calling must be the same people who call me about my pre-approved loan so I can pay these toll tickets. A bunch of idiots.
I have not gotten a toll text in a while.
Yes, he's still getting toll texts, even though there's hardly any tolls in Alabama.
I did get a text the other day, though, and it was, I want to say I got it on Friday.
Yeah.
That I still need to send my Cologuard sample back in.
But you haven't.
I haven't done it yet,
Yeah,
but
see,
I still got a text that I need to send the Cologuard sample
you're gonna
back.
Get emails and you're going to get texts all the time. Please, please, please send your Cologuard back
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
So I'm not going to get in trouble for this. We can call it a dump in the box. You got to take a dump in the box.
Yes, I still get the text to send that one back.
We probably ought to do our own little remake of that song we've talked about before. We don't want to offend anybody.
Right.
And just call it Dump in the Box.
Apparently I said the wrong thing.
Yeah, I did too. So I'm sorry to the Karen out there that I
Well,
irritated.
anyway, so Athlon Sports. So coming up in less. So we mentioned it yesterday. Alex Scarborough had the article out about some Alabama records that probably will never get broken.
Right.
And I said, okay, we're doing this because we're starting to set the table for SEC Media Days. We're less than a month away from being in Atlanta, where we're all going to convene and we're all going to, hey, it's been a long time. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Hey, good to see you. But we're also going to have our SEC predicted order of finish by the media. Well, Athlon has predicted their SEC order of finish in the Southeastern Conference. And the first two, not surprising. The middle half of it, I think, is very surprising. Texas, they have is number one. They predict Texas to finish number one in the conference, followed by Georgia. I don't think there's any surprise there. Number three, maybe LSU.
Well, it depends if the pieces fit. They were very aggressive in the portal. Very, very aggressive.
Number four, Alabama. So far, the top four, I don't see any surprise there. You could probably interchange Alabama and LSU, maybe. Georgia, remember, they're still breaking in a new quarterback. So maybe Georgia's not two. Maybe Georgia falls to two or maybe three in there. I mean, to me, the first four, no, I don't see a big change or a problem there in the first four. This is where maybe 5 through 12 and maybe even 5 through 15, it gets a little different. Number 5 in the Athlon SEC predicted order of finish is Florida.
They're going to have to take a big jump because they were 7-5 last year. They weren't 9-3.
Number 6, and their $8 million man quarterback, who, by the way, his dad said he was offered $8 million.
I know. Lenora Sellers.
Yeah, South Carolina at number 6.
South Carolina has never been a program that dealt with expectation well, except for a 3-year period under Steve Spurrier. Every other time they're supposed to be good, and they don't sneak up on people, it blows up in their face. So I'm going to be – and they lost a ton of talent on defense.
Number 7, Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels.
That's another polarizing wild card type team because they how good is Austin Simmons? I think there's a lot of people at Ole Miss think he's going to be great. Trey Harris is gone. Your offensive lines, lost some talent. You certainly your skill people are going to look a lot different. Both the at wide receiver and running back. And running back last year, I think, was an issue because they never really replaced Quinshon Judkins, in my opinion. So who's going to, I think, have a long NFL career and help Ohio State win a national championship. So, you say all that, and yet I still thought when they were focused and healthy, and especially because of all the defensive talent Wild Turkey had, that Pete Golding, that Ole Miss had the best roster in the SEC last year, but they just weren't consistent.
Okay, followed that with Texas A&M at number 8, Oklahoma number 9, Tennessee 10, and Auburn 11.
It's interesting that with Nico Moneybags leaving, all of a sudden now
nobody wants Tennessee.
That Tennessee's expectations have slipped. Now I still get messages and tweets and things of that nature. Well, Tennessee's coming. They're fixing to win in Bryant-Denny Stadium for the first time since before my kid was born. But
and that kid's what, 21, 22?
Yeah, he can drink now. But I mean, who knows?
Not your kid, by the way.
Hell, I ain't got any kids.
You said my kid. I want people to realize you're talking about the person talking to you, not the fact that you have a kid.
Hey, man, don't give my parents a heart attack, man. Good Lord.
A mini Drew.
I ain't got stepkids either.
Well, that's good. Yeah, because that means you'd be fooling all of us if you'd be married and be
been in a relationship with kids before and they were great, but don't have any right now.
No, that's good.
Okay.
Missouri number 12.
Yeah, because Mizzou, they lost a ton.
Yeah.
They were really talented. I will say this. If Elijah Drinkwitz can turn this season into another 9 or even 10-win year,
right,
and even be in contention for a playoff berth, it's going to be tough for Mizzou to hang on to him, in my opinion.
You think?
Heck yeah. And trust me, I love Billy Napier, but if they go 7-5 or worse again, they're going to fire him.
No.
And I still say, yo, you better be going after Elijah, Gator
You
fans.
think so, really?
Yeah, I mean,
Because it didn't start well at Missouri for him.
But he's done a really good job. Now this year will be big because again, you lost your QB, you lost your best wide receiver, who I thought was one of the more underrated in the draft process. So I mean, Lynn Luther Burden. I think but if Mizzou can put the pieces back together and be a contender in the SEC, at least a dark horse one, I mean, I think some universities need to start looking at Elijah Drinkwitz.
All right, the bottom 4, Arkansas, the best team in Tennessee, the team that runs the state of Tennessee, Vandy at 14, Kentucky at 15, and Mississippi State at 16. That's the Athlon SEC predicted order of finish.
And again, I love Diego Pavia as a competitor, but dude, you better slow your roll here, brother.
I something just brought to my mind when you said Elijah Drinkwitz to Florida.
Yeah.
Maybe. What if the Florida job came open and the Kentucky job came open at the same time? If you're John Summerall and you get asked, would you take Florida or Kentucky, your alma mater?
I know it'd be a tough decision for John, but I would take Florida because of the recruiting territory in the state of Florida, man, and the resources. Even though Mitch Barnhart, they've improved facilities at Kentucky, you can win at Kentucky, no question. But I'm sure he's still seething and listening every now and then. But I'm sorry, Jeff, you ain't won it since 1950. You're not winning an SEC title at Kentucky. Now, maybe John could get him to the playoff because there's been a couple of teams that Stoops had in this playoff system
that could have gotten there.
So, but that would be the ceiling, in my opinion.
Hour 2 next.
This is Brent Musburger's BSIN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Austin Riley with a walk-off sacrifice fly in the 10th inning, and the Braves edged the Mets 5-4 yesterday. 4th straight loss for the Mets. Today, it's Chris Sale on the mound for Atlanta, 4-4 at 2.79 ERA. Braves another 87 favorite against Paul Blackburn of the Mets plus 152. 8 over the total at Truist Park. NASCAR this week at Pocono for the Great American Getaway 400. Danny Hamlin plus 450. Kyle Larson plus 550. Ryan Blaney 7-1. William Byron plus 750. Christopher Bell plus 850. Scotty Scheffler, the plus 275 favorite with the Travelers Championship in Connecticut. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
I had no idea. Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Hour 2 is upon us. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. They are helping us kick off hour number 2, 256-881-5151. You can experience the Sports Med difference. Give them a call. SportsMedAlabama.com. That's how you can find them online. They've got all kinds of stuff. They're North Alabama's leader in sports medicine surgery, expert diagnosis, treatment, rehabilitation, prevention. Oh, they got all kinds of stuff. Physical therapy, occupational therapy, urgent care, brace shop, imaging center, orthopedic and spine surgery. They've got it all. And give them a call, 256-881-5151. You can experience a little bit of that sports med difference. And when we got this whole shebang started this morning at 7 a.m., we were talking a little Alabama football recruiting there in that first segment. And we talked a little quarterbacks because Alabama was able to flip one. We talked a little bit about it. But now we just kind of need to dig a little bit more into it, a little bit more explanation to it all.
Yeah, and who better than to speak with? He's the founder and owner since 1996 of TigerInsider.com. I'm honored to contribute to TI, and of course, he's been in this business as long as anyone, and that is Rodney Orr, and he's been kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline this morning to talk some Alabama recruiting because we kind of let off the show with it. Pat from Tuscaloosa has already called in because he was one of the first de facto guys to jump on the bandwagon of Jet Tamala, but he has come in and become the quarterback of this class. Now, we'll see if he's by himself or if they try to take a second one, but he is the first QB in the 2026 cycle that is committed to the University of Alabama. A lot of times, the way you recruit this position, it is one per class. It's tough to recruit two. It's also tough to recruit one when you sign one of the top two the year before, which they did with Keelan Russell. But this young man is very intriguing, and we're going to talk to Rodney Orr about him right now on this Wednesday edition.
Yes.
Talking ball on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Rodney, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are the both of you?
We are good.
We're doing good.
We're doing good, sir. And I know you've watched this film, Rodney. You've you've done a lot of digging and recon. But your thoughts on Jet Tamala? We knew that he was on the short list. We weren't sure exactly how this would pivot, but certainly yesterday we had heard for the last several days that this could be in the works, that they were working to flip him from Iowa State and Matt Campbell, but an interesting piece of the puzzle for Kalen DeBoer, Nick Sheridan, and of course Ryan Grubb and the crew.
Yeah, and you mentioned his film. Drew, Scott, I think the thing that popped the most in his film was not necessarily his football film, but his basketball film.
Agreed.
I mean, a dunking machine. Good-looking athlete. And then you watch his football tape. I mean, obviously, he has a lot of skills there. You watch him as a passer. He was very successful last year. He led Millard South up in Omaha to their first state championship in 15 years. He had 47 touchdown passes, only 3 interceptions, threw for over 3,600 yards, completed 70% of his passes. And again, I know a lot of people say, well, Nebraska high school football isn't Alabama high school football.
Yeah.
Well, and that is true. But I think when you see the tools there, and I would say this too, and I said this last night on Tiger Insider TV, you look at Matt Campbell at Iowa State, he's done a great job of evaluating quarterbacks through the years. Then you look at Ryan Grubb, Nick Sheridan, Kalen DeBoer. I mean, those guys have really good eyes when it comes to quarterbacks evaluation. So I like Jet Tamala. He's a good-looking player. And I think, Drew, you brought up a great question. Does Alabama sign a second guy at the quarterback position? And normally I would say no.
Right.
But I wouldn't totally rule it out. And again, it's not that I know something. I'm just saying if I'm looking at the way the portal is, you're looking at your quarterback room right now, you've got 3 guys. You're probably not going to have those same 3 guys next year. You might have 2 of them. You might only have 1 of them. That's just the reality of it. So I would probably try to sign 2 if I could.
Yeah.
Well, then Rodney, I mean, and is it a factor too where you try to go get two quarterbacks because Jet Tamale he'd already committed to Iowa State, Alabama able to flip him, but in today's landscape, if you go after two quarterbacks, and if somehow somebody's able to reflip him, not to say that Alabama's not going to hold on to him because they probably will, but you go after two quarterbacks because in the instance maybe somebody flips again, you still have somebody.
I mean, you always have to consider those options. Everything could happen, all of those things. And so it certainly would be a consideration, I think. But, again, I just think when you look at the numbers down the road, you could potentially run into an issue in terms of, having your quarterback depth. So, I have no idea if they're going to. Now, I think Taden Kawa, I guess that's how he pronounces his last name.
I was going to let you try that one. That's I call him the Hawaiian Ute.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, right. He's from Orem, Utah. Well, he's supposed to come in this weekend. So if he visits, that would tell me that there is a plan in place to take two quarterbacks.
That would be very interesting, and I would agree with you. And of course the Elite 11 is going to be the rest of this week into the weekend, and then Jet's coming in for his official visit. And I thought it was interesting that he went ahead and flipped before the visit, though a lot of recruiting insiders, people like Steve Wiltfong of On3 and others, had said that the flip would probably likely happen before the visit. Rodney.
Yeah, well, and that's I think Drew initially. And I'll say this, Jet Tamala handled this really well, in my opinion.
Right.
If you're going to flip, it's always a difficult thing because you've got relationships with but he was very respectful, I thought. He came down here on an unofficial visit, or it was late May. It was May 30th, I think, that weekend, that first real big weekend. And then he did go back and make the official visit to Iowa State. And he said that he would not make an official visit to Alabama before flipping. He said that he just didn't feel like that would be right to keep Iowa State hanging like that if he did that. So, I mean, I think he handled it really, really well too. So it tells you a little bit about something about him.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Rodney, we look ahead tomorrow. I believe it's tomorrow, June 19th. Sincere, I hope I get that first name right. Sincere Johnson will make his announcement.
Yeah, and from Glenville, Ohio. And Rodney, this feels like Buckeyes for me. What do you?
I would think so. I mean, look. First of all, that school, Glenville, they've had other kids even come down here in the past to visit. That I mean, even when Saban was here.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just hard to get a kid out of that school. But they're just so traditional to go to Ohio State. And he's a great player. It sounds like a really good kid. I mean, it's not an NIL deal. I mean, he wants to go to the place that he feels best. So, I would think he goes to Ohio State. That would be my call.
And then I know there's a couple of others where these recruitments take twists. At one time, maybe a month ago, Brandon Arrington was maybe thought to be leaning to Alabama. I know he came on his visit last week from the state of California, but it looks like it's going to be that Alabama is not going to factor in at the end. And then Tristan Keys, an interesting twist there as well.
Yeah, as far as Arrington, those early reports, it's just amazing. They'll throw people out there that they're leaning to Alabama. I mean, it's just such a long process, and I think that's really the case with Arrington. He was leaning, I guess, if you want to call that, or favorable towards Alabama. But, he came in on the visit, and the people that we talked to, Drew, basically said, look, had a great visit, but is it enough? And it just wasn't enough. I mean, it's Oregon or Texas A&M. And again, I hate to speculate, but sounds like, Oregon and Texas A&M, they're pretty big on offering NIL deals. So, I mean, maybe that's part of it. As far as Keys.
Yeah, shocker there, huh?
Yeah, Keys sounds like again, I'm just going on reading the tea leaves here, and I think it could be the same thing.
And then this weekend is big because we've already talked about Jet. You already talked about the Hawaiian Ute coming in. From Utah is in maybe could be a second QB potentially in the class, but the wide receiver room, maybe you're not going to get potentially a Tristan Keys, but there's two big targets that are going to be on campus and they make decisions around the same time, Rodney, and one of them is the top prospect in the state of Alabama.
Sedarian Morgan. Yeah. And, again, I think Sedarian is I like Alabama's position with him. I know there's some people that are concerned about Auburn because of Benjamin Russell has kind of been a favorable school for Auburn through the years. He had a great visit to Florida a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And I think they really bumped up there. But I still think Alabama's in really good position with Sedarian Morgan.
Mm-hmm. And then around the same time as well, and it goes back to what you talked about with Jet and the evaluation process, and really, they did this with Latsier Brooks last year. They may have done it again in the wide receiver room with Brian Williams Jr.
Yes, and he is out of down there at Lake Mary, Florida, and he's a good-looking player, man. Look, he's a 3-star rated player. I pretty much assure you that when we're talking in December about these guys, if he ends up at Alabama, which is kind of the feeling, he's going to be much higher rated than what he is right now. He's got great height. I mean, he's probably close to 6'4". I tell you who he looks like physically to me, and again, I just watching his tape, he looks like Jamison Williams in high school. I'm talking about from a height and frame and all of that. He's probably not as fast as Jamison, but he does have really good speed. He's a really impressive looking guy, with that size he has, and he's got to fill out a little bit. He's only about 185, but I really like what I see of him. And Florida, I know, felt really strongly about their position with him. But apparently, that visit that he took really turned his head to Alabama. So we'll see with Brian Williams Jr. I'll just put it to you this way, Drew. If the Firecracker 5 was today,
there you go.
I'd have Brian Williams Jr. in there.
Yeah, and don't forget the Firecracker 5 is always the list Rodney puts out around July 4th when he'll give you about 5 guys that he thinks Alabama's in strong position with to potentially be in the class. So that's a little preview there. And then another interesting prospect, I've watched a little film of him, but if Alabama were to take a third receiver, and when you look at Alabama's receiver room, I said this in the first hour, certainly we know Jeremy Bernard is going to move on. Isaiah Horton could be a one and done. We'll see, but there's not a lot of guys that are draft eligible right now. Of course, you never know with the portal, but it seems as though the wide receiver class may only be 2, maybe 3 players. Another kid that I continue to hear about is Owen Cabell from Nashville Christ Presbyterian in Nashville, Tennessee. I'll be in Nashville this weekend, but it sounds like he's going to be also on the visitors list coming up on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday as well.
Yep. Yeah, and again, he's another guy. I mean, when you look at the Sedarian's, 6'4", close to it. You look at Brian Williams Jr., he's close to 6'4". Cabell is about 6'3". And that's something that I know that Kalen DeBoer and Jamarcus Shepard look for is height, but then they want guys that can stretch the field. And those 3 guys all have both of those qualities. Cabell, has been timed in 10,700 meters. But he ran I think he came down here that, they put out a video of his workout when he came down here to camp, and he ran a 4.440. I was extremely impressed with that video. I thought he showed a lot of things as a receiver coming in and out of breaks and stuff like that. His ability to stop and start. I thought all of those things were really impressive, for a guy 6'3" and, was he 195 or 200 pounds? So I've been impressed. I know he's a little bit of a, you consider him a 3-star, I guess, is what most people rank him. But again, I mean, I thought he looked really, really good. And if they took those three, I mean, I think that would be a really good class. Now, I know that Kenny Darby from over in Bossier City, Louisiana, is still out there. He says he's going to announce. I think he's coming out on July 4th with his final announce. Or, well, you never know if it's final, but he's committed to LSU, and then he said he's going to announce on July 4th. And then you got Booby Feaster over in Texas at DeSoto, and I'm not sure what Booby's doing right now. I mean, I know USC's been in there, Texas A&M. We'll see. But my guess is, Drew, it's going to be hard to get, the way this thing is with the revenue sharing now.
Yes.
You're going to have to prioritize your money. Well,
no doubt.
I say that, most schools, if you follow the rules, I think you're going to have to prioritize the money.
Rodney, you've followed recruiting for so long, and you followed Alabama recruiting for so long, and you just mentioned that Kalen DeBoer and his staff, what they're looking for in certain positions. What other positions have you noticed maybe a change in, like that the coaching staff's a different style of players that they're looking at from maybe in the past?
Well, that's a really good question, because something pops to mind. And I'm not really sure that it's DeBoer or Kane Womack, but they're recruiting smaller defensive linemen, which I think is okay.
Yeah.
From the standpoint of, you can take a guy. Jonathan Allen was a 245-pound, considered a jack linebacker when they signed him. And, they knew he had the frame, and he filled out. And he filled out well. He kept his athleticism and all of that. Question is, can these guys do that? You have to be able to project that. So they are recruiting. It seems to me, as I look at them, most of the guys they're recruiting are anywhere from between 250 and maybe 270 on the defensive line. And they want to bulk some of those guys up. And again, Stephen Boa, or however he says his last name, kid that's here now, that was they signed out of Canada a couple of years ago, that went to JUCO for a year. He did that. I mean, he was about 260, and now he's 305, 310. So maybe that's certainly a change. Here's the thing, Drew and Scott, is last year they signed 2 defensive linemen. Two. So as you move forward, I know they said they had a lot of guys coming back and it wasn't a priority. I think you have to prioritize defensive line every year, every single year. And so as you look forward, you got to really hope that some of the guys you have now, Jeremiah Beeman, Edric Hill, really good players, Stephen Boa that I mentioned, Isaiah Funga, you've got to hope that those guys hit, because now you're in a position where guys that you could have signed last year that would have got a year of development and been ready for 2026 perhaps, you don't have those guys because you only signed 2. Hopefully the group that they get in this year, they can develop them really quickly, because they're going to need those guys for some depth.
And then finally, Rodney, I know Wes Neighbors asked me this, and because people are still concerned about in-state recruiting because of last year. But the way I explained it is, a lot of times when you follow Nick Saban, who was I think still the best ever, in handling, recruiting and prioritizing, in identifying talent. A lot of times he would only sign 5, 6, 7 guys from in-state. I don't know how many they're going to sign this year, but it does seem like that they are in strong position. You already mentioned C.D. Morgan. Xavier Crowell is going to be in this weekend, top running back in the state who reclassified. Anthony Tank Jones from St. Paul's. That they have a chance to sign a handful of really good players that are at the top of what a lot of people think is a pretty strong group in state.
Yeah, it's they do. I mean, they've done a really good job of that. And I know people were concerned after last year. Auburn kind of wiped out the state. I'm not really sure exactly how many Alabama recruited hard out of that group, but they did make this a priority, obviously, this year, to really hone in on the guys that they want in the state. You mentioned Morgan. You mentioned Crowell, Zion Gibson's another guy that's committed to them. And, we assume he's going to stick, although Ole Miss and Tennessee both have kind of been working there. The kid up there in Muscle Shoals, Cam Johnson, Jamarian Matthews from Sparkman that is now over at Gainesville, Georgia. You mentioned Tank Jones, just real quick, Drew and Scott. I get a feel that might be a hard one to pull. Now, I don't know. He's going to be here this weekend, so it's going to be really interesting. But it sounds like to me Texas A&M might be a team to watch. Oregon's been in there, but Texas A&M could be a team to watch there.
Very interesting. Well, great stuff, Rodney. I know you're going to be on top of all the recruiting on TiderInsider.com. Let everybody know how to follow you and your work.
Well, I appreciate it. It's TiderInsider.com. It's only $48 a year. You can get instant access with your credit card. If you prefer, there is an address there to send a check. And it gives you all our premium information, but also our all sports forum. It's going to really crank up here as we get closer to the season. Been a little slow, but it always picks up about the time we get to SEC Media Days.
Absolutely. It really does. Well, Rodney, have a great weekend,
Thanks,
man.
Rodney.
We always appreciate the time.
Okay, guys. Appreciate it. Take care.
All right, got to get a break in. Talking Ball returns after this.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, we love what we do, and it shows. Visit LifetimeEpoxyFloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook.
John Abraham here from The Blitz. Look, I love a good party. So why not join me on June 27th at Bobcat of Huntsville as we celebrate their new location on Highway 20 in Madison, right beside Redstone Harley-Davidson. I recently got to check out their massive 13,000 square foot location, and I was amazed. Skid steers, excavators, mini backhoes, you name it. But don't just take my word for it. Come on down to Bobcat of Huntsville and enjoy the day from 10 to 3 p.m. Food, fun, and a whole lot of door prizes will be available. So don't miss out as the Blitz will be live on location June 27th. I'll see you there.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well, to try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
The Atlanta Braves.
Swung on and crushed deep left field. Kepler going back. Here comes some late night dynamite here at Truist Park. A walk-off home run by Marcelo Zuna.
All season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, 8:25 on a Wednesday morning. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. And our good friends over at Talent Heating and Air, we mentioned that the temperature's about ready to go up, and they need some people. If you need a job, if you're looking to make a little Benjamin, they're hiring service techs and installers right now. Yeah. So give Thomas a call over there at Talent Heating and Air. 256-503-4490.
So basically what you're saying is they're getting so much dang business, they got to hire some people.
Yeah, they need to bring in some people. And so they said they can train the right person. So if you've never even installed an AC, but you've got the willpower to do so, Talent Heating and Air can give you, they can get you a job. Make a little Benjamins this summer. All right, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. You can join us this morning. And did you see this last night? It's making its rounds, and I'd listened to it. It was interesting.
Right.
Henry Ruggs.
I did see a little bit about this.
He got a special release from prison last night.
Adam Schefter had it.
Yeah, and he spoke to a group at a Hope for Prisoners event in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. He apologized to the family of the woman he killed in a car crash nearly 4 years ago.
The dog.
Yes. He apologized and said he wishes they could meet the real Henry Ruggs. Didn't mention anything at all about trying to get back into the game. Didn't mention anything at all about that. He's the video clip that is surfacing. Mm-hmm. Henry Ruggs said all of the right things, that he wishes he could go back and, do things differently. And obviously when you have that situation, that is something that everybody goes back and says. But it was interesting to just hear Henry Ruggs for the first time in a setting like that.
It was because, if you have been following it at all, his situation, it looks as though that he will be released in short order after 4+ years behind bars. I think he's very, very fortunate to be getting out this quickly after what happened. It's to me, it's unfathomable what took place, and it's very, very hard to forgive because you took the lives of a young lady and her dog that, just because of irresponsible behavior. I don't know how you can condone, drinking and driving. It's horrendous. And look, he
was speeds up to 156 miles per hour.
It was crazy what he was doing.
Yeah.
And with all the technology out there, the ability to get Ubers at any hour of the night, he was his career was starting to ascend with the Las Vegas Raiders. I just can't tell you how stupid. And of course, Henry kind of made reference to that with what he was saying yesterday, but still, to me, it's just hard to get your head around with some of these situations that take place.
All right. He is eligible for parole in August of 2026. So a little over a year from now.
Yeah.
He will be eligible for parole. And that is to your point. That it looks like
by then that would have been 5 years behind bars.
Yep. So, all right. Not to completely change us, but that was something that came out last night, and it was just, it's kind of making its surface around social media. It's making its surface around everything because of the words. And there was videotape there of Henry Ruggs actually speaking to the individual. So that's why it's really become a story, is because there's actual video of Henry Ruggs talking. So, all right, we got to get a break because when we come back, all eyes of the baseball world convening on Omaha. We're down to 4. Louisville, Coastal Carolina, Arkansas, LSU tonight. We'll talk a little Hogs baseball next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. It's going to feel like it's in the mid 90s, dropping into the lower 70s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. And Owens Crossroads, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 326 Sutton Road very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove, and soon in Owens Crossroads.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a back compressor or leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
The Tom Abraham Show. Weekdays beginning at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
Welcome back, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond hanging out with you. We'll be with you until 9 a.m. We were talking, and we've kind of talked a little bit on and off and on, I should say, throughout the morning about the College World Series. We're down to the Final Four, and the SEC guaranteed a spot in the College Baseball National Championship Series once again. Yep. 8th consecutive tournament, 16 of the last 17 that they will advance to the finals and play for a national championship. It'll either be Arkansas or LSU under the championship lights.
Well, I'm not giving up. I picked Arkansas to make the finals against Coastal Carolina. I still say on the very, very short list of the best to you don't want to be on it because it means you hadn't won it. But Arkansas and Florida State are probably the two most prominent programs. And now that I hate that the late Mike Martin, who coined the term O2 barbecue, in my opinion, he never won it. He came so close. All right, but Dave Van Horn has come so close as well,
right,
to winning a national championship for the Arkansas Razorbacks. And before that, I'm getting so old now. I can remember when he brought Nebraska to Omaha before he left for his alma mater at Arkansas. He's done remarkable things there. I still think this team can win it all. I think they can pull this off. But we're going to talk to one of the foremost, I think, voices when it comes to the Razorbacks and the baseball program. He works for Inside Arkansas with our good friend Curtis Wilkerson, also John Neighbors. He has a daily podcast, and a YouTube show called the Bombtastic Podcast, and it's outstanding if you're an Arkansas Razorback baseball fan or just an SEC baseball fan, period. They've been hanging out at DJ's Dugout in Omaha, and Andrew Ellis has been kind enough to join us this morning to talk Razorbacks. Andrew, welcome to the show with Drew and Scott. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Again, just like happy to be here in Omaha. You know, you can't take anything for granted. And when Arkansas loses their first game, and you're kind of sitting here thinking, okay, we might be going home, but we also might be here for another week. And so we're just kind of living and enjoying each day as it comes, and looking forward to another good game tonight, man. It's been stressful, but it's been fun.
Then Gage Wood happens, though.
Yeah, then Gage Wood happens, and that certainly is going to give us something to remember forever. And so it's like hard to enjoy it almost because you're so thrilled about the no-hitter, and then you just got to get right back on that horse and get right back to winning an elimination game.
Obviously, it ranks up there probably, if not the best pitching performance ever for an Arkansas Razorback. I mean, I know it comes in the World Series, so you obviously assume that would be the case. The strikeouts, the no-hitter, the moment, everything in the stage. Is it clearly by far the best performance ever for Arkansas, or was there one maybe in history that compares?
I can't personally think of one. I think I would have to go to other sports to find something that, like, an individual performance that meant as much as this one did. I mean, it's just cool to see, Patrick Mahomes tweeting about it, to see all these big time names in the sports world talking about Gage Wood, even on the Pat McAfee show and stuff. Like, it's been crazy. I mean, you add in that it's an elimination game, you add the stage. The only thing that you can really point to say that it's not a perfect, like the only knock you can have against it is that it happened against Murray State, who's not necessarily a perennial powerhouse or anything. But I mean, when you do it in Omaha, I don't think it matters who you do it against. And, if we look, I think it's a performance that really might even age better, because I think if Arkansas is able to fight their way through this thing and get to the finals, we'll look back at that and be like, holy cow, them not having to use a pitcher in that game is massive. No hits. I mean, 19 strikeouts. The program record for strikeouts in Omaha was 10, which Gabe Gackle tied on Saturday. And Gage Wood goes out there and throws 19. And so from an Arkansas standpoint, it's the best performance I've ever seen or ever been a part of, for sure.
Well, Andrew, I can tell you this, man. I think it has to be, considering what was at stake. And it was still only a 3-0 game, which in the parlance of college baseball is still one big inning, because we saw it even last night, because Arkansas was very close to pulling off back-to-back shutouts, which is extremely hard to do on that stage. Had a bad ninth inning, ended up winning 7-3. But if you're Dave Van Horn and the team, still, except for the hiccup in the ninth, that you probably couldn't have played out any better for the Hogs over the last couple of days to set up the rematch with LSU.
Yeah, I think, anytime you're in a situation where you're sitting there staring down the barrel of 4 elimination games, obviously, in that moment that you're going to need a bunch of guys to step up. You're going to need a lot of things to go your way. And I've always kind of felt that Arkansas is built to do something like this. Nobody's in an ideal situation when you're trying to come back from, losing your first game, having to win 4 straight. But when I look at Arkansas and LSU, I looked and I said, I don't think LSU has the depth on their pitching staff to do something like that. And so I felt like there was more pressure on them in game 1. Of course, they win, so they don't have to do that. And I don't think there's ever an ideal situation, but I felt like Arkansas was, built and had the depth to do it. And Gage Wood allowed them to use some of that depth and kind of keep some of that here for these next couple games. And so Arkansas, I wouldn't say Arkansas is in a great spot. I mean, you still have to beat a very good team twice, but the way that it sets up and the way that Gage Wood's outing allowed them to kind of play loose for a day and not really have to make a decision, I think it fires up the team, certainly. I think the offense, which has certainly not been fired on all cylinders, gives them a little bit of time to reset and refocus a little bit. I think it's good for morale. It's good for your program. It's good for everything. I think by this point in the College World Series, the Razorbacks have settled in a little bit, and Gage Wood's outing is a massive part of that. I mean, this team was playing tight. They were playing a little, they were feeling the pressure a little bit, and so I'm sure Gage Wood was feeling that pressure, and so it's certainly one that is going to be something we remember forever. I mean, you're not going to see many performances with that many stakes, but I also think just in the immediate future, it completely changed the week for Arkansas.
Yeah, well, you get to this point at the College World Series, though, and I know a lot of people talk about, tired and being, just drained. Everybody's drained at this point because, I mean, it's been a long grind just to get to this point of the season. But if you're Arkansas and you've had to battle, I mean, what is the bullpen looking like? What is the starting rotation looking like? I mean, can Dave Van Horn set it to where he wants it against LSU tonight?
So the big question I have, and I think a lot of people have, is will Arkansas bring back Gabe Gackle today? Gabe Gackle throws 90 pitches out of the bullpen on Saturday, 6 innings after Zach Root did not have a good start against LSU in that first game. Gabe Gackle kind of kept Arkansas in that game, helped also save the bullpen. I mean, it all kind of adds up when you look back at it. Gabe Gackle, who's going to be one of the best prospects in the country this time next year, looked awesome on Saturday. I think LSU fans, that's the one guy they really fear. He could come back today. I mean, he's been badgering the coaching staff. He even was saying on Monday, he's like, I'll be ready to go tomorrow. Like, let me get the ball. I don't think that's the route Arkansas is going to go, but I also wouldn't have told you they were going to go with Zach Root yesterday. I would have said they were going to hold Zach Root for today. And so I think it kind of tells you the mentality they have. But from a bullpen standpoint, I mean, the guys they used in Saturday's game, Cole Gibbler, who's been their top left-hand arm by a wide margin, he's fully healthy, fully ready to go. Christian Fouch, a right-hander that throws 100, he's fully healthy, he's fully ready to go. Parker Coyle, who actually has the best ERA on the team and has been a big-time clean-up-a-mess type of guy, he's fully healthy, he's fully ready to go. Arkansas's got a couple other older guys, some experienced right-handers, Dylan Carter, Ben Bivey. They haven't thrown a bit. They haven't thrown in over a month. And so it's like Arkansas's got a decent amount of options here. Landon Beidelshees would be the expected starter if Gabe Gackle does not get moved up a little bit. And Landon Beidelshees is, not had the best year possible for Arkansas after transferring to Ohio State, but his kind of one big flaw this year has been giving up home runs. You think this ballpark is probably where you want to play if your big flaw is giving up home runs. So he's also got a ton of experience, throws a ton of strikes, and so Arkansas's got the pieces there. Like, if you just look at it on paper, if Arkansas doesn't win these next 2 games, it's not going to be because they ran out of pitching, unless something crazy happens. It's going to be because LSU beat them, which LSU, of course, very capable of doing. Arkansas's got to swing the bats. But if you look at it on paper, I mean, Arkansas's got plenty of arms left to kind of piece this thing together. And then you've got a really big-time blue-chip guy in Gabe Gackle, who I feel like is kind of the X factor waiting in the wings. I mean, of these 18 innings, Gabe Gackle's almost certainly going to have to eat up 4, 5, 6 of them.
Well, and then the SEC Player of the Year got hot with the bat last night.
Yeah, that certainly doesn't hurt. I mean, Vahiva Aloy is, of course, you said SEC Player of the Year, like in that conversation, in that Golden Spikes conversation for a reason. I mean, he's been awesome. Going to be a first-round pick, and he's such a good overall player. It's not like Arkansas is actually dependent on him offensively. I mean, this lineup's been really good 1 through 9, but definitely helps to see your guy have kind of his moment on that big stage and start to make that ballpark look small a little bit. Arkansas's got a few guys. I mean, as is everyone this time of year. Like, you got some guys who are heating up, some guys that are cold, and you kind of are just hoping, you kind of wondering, all right, is this guy going to get hot? Is this guy going to get hot? And so Arkansas's kind of got their list of guys like that. But Vahiva Aloy showing what he's capable of is always a good sign. I think it sets the tone for this Razorback lineup, and there's so many pieces. Logan Maxwell had a huge hit right behind him in the 3-hole yesterday after they intentionally walked him in the 7th inning, and so you kind of already saw that ripple effect of what Vahiva Aloy's impact can do. And so Arkansas's got the pieces again. Like, if they don't beat LSU, it's not going to be because they couldn't do it. It's just going to be because they didn't do it, and that sucks, and that's a reality we'll have to live in. But I think it's just fascinating that they're in this spot, and I think today is going to be the hardest one, and then once you get to tomorrow, all bets are off.
So let's just say, and we hope they're able to get by LSU. We assume Coastal Carolina looms on the horizon. If you had to match up against Coastal and this Arkansas team, how does Arkansas stack against a Coastal Carolina?
Well, it'd be easy for me to look at it on paper and say, yeah, Arkansas is going to have more talent. And
Right.
really, if you look at Arkansas this year, a lot of the teams that they've struggled against, like it's kind of weird. In years past, Arkansas, and they had this moniker of the last 2 years they lose in their regional round. They kind of have this moniker of choking in the postseason and not being able to get the job done. And they're kind of susceptible to getting caught by a bad team. In this Arkansas season, they pretty much crush cans regularly. And not to say Coastal Carolina, very much not a can. But any team that Arkansas has a talent advantage over, they usually take care of business. Like the only teams that have really pushed Arkansas have been a team like LSU that has a ton of talent, a team like Georgia who has a ton of talent, Florida, they had a tough series down there, a ton of talent. Like usually it's the teams that have big time power arms, specifically right-handed power arms, that they can throw at Arkansas to shut down that lineup. Those are the ones that give Arkansas trouble. Coastal doesn't necessarily fit that description, but man, those dudes are rolling. And I think at this point, today's going to be massive because if Coastal is able to win today and kind of get a couple of those days off, and you have Arkansas and LSU battling tooth and nail, and then potentially tomorrow you might have Cade Anderson versus Gabe Gackle. Zach Root threw yesterday. Gage Wood threw 120 pitches the other day. Like whoever goes out there to face Coastal is going to be beat up and bruised, and Coastal could be sitting pretty there if they're able to get the job done today.
Well, and it was late in the season, in early May, but do you take anything away from the series at LSU that Arkansas lost 2 out of 3, or is it just basically a blank canvas right now?
I mean, listen, there's certainly things you always are going to take away. I mean, you don't have to live and die with those results. And I mean, hey, that series didn't go Arkansas's way, so maybe it's a sign that they're not going to be able to get the job done. But I think the big thing is Arkansas loses the first 2 of that series.
Mm-hmm.
You lose a really close game, 5-4 extra innings on Friday, which was pretty much the type of game. I mean, it's the same pitching matchup that we saw on Saturday here in Omaha. Arkansas had a Saturday game that just completely got away from them. Gage Wood, who threw the no-hitter, got roughed up in that game. Arkansas punted that one a little bit early, started throwing some different arms. In Game 3 on Sunday, Arkansas went into that one kind of feeling like we need to salvage one here, and they were able to do it. And the reason they were able to do it is because LSU ran out of pitching a little bit, which is interesting because there really weren't that many high-leverage innings leading up to that Game 3. But LSU really only has about 5 arms they trust.
Right.
Now, those 5 arms are really, really good arms, but we've seen them use a lot of that. I mean, Ianson throws 44 pitches on Monday. We'll see when they bring him back. I would assume today. Cade Anderson throws his 100 on Saturday. I think that Thursday is probably the day they bring him back. They've used Chase Shores twice. He'll most likely be available. Kason Evans, I don't imagine being available the next couple days. And so that list is starting to dwindle down a little bit. It's setting up similarly to how it set up in this first series where Arkansas was kind of able to outlast them from a pitching depth standpoint. And that helped Arkansas salvage a Game 3. Salvaging a Game 3 of a series is a lot different than winning 2 elimination games in Omaha. But I think there's something Arkansas can take from that from a confidence standpoint is that when you face LSU, yeah, it's impossible to beat Cade Anderson. Yeah, it's really tough when Anthony Ionson's on the mound. Kason Evans is a tough arm to deal with as well as the freshman. But once you kind of start knocking off some of those top arms, LSU looks a little more vulnerable. We also saw that in LSU's regional when Little Rock was fighting them tooth and nail. I think that's something Arkansas can build on. And I think the more Arkansas is able to get into this bullpen, if they're able to get Anthony Ianson out of the game today at some point, like that's going to really, it's going to kind of snowball. And I feel like Arkansas will get more and more confident as we get through these potentially 18 innings.
Well, if Arkansas can win this game today and have Gabe Gackle ready to roll on Thursday, I know Anderson could be on the mound for LSU. I still would think Arkansas would feel really good about that.
Absolutely. I mean, look, anytime, again, once you lose that Saturday game, it's really hard because you just look up at the mountain and you're like, all right, we got to win this game, and then we got to win this one, and then we got to win this one, and then you got to win this one. So once you get to that Thursday game, it doesn't matter what you did to get there. You're going to have a little bit of a playing with house money type of feeling on your team. You know, you kind of like, okay, I can't believe we got here. We no longer have to like worry about planning ahead. We can just plan and win this game. And then LSU starts feeling that pressure, and their fan base has been very, very confident, to say the least. I'll just say that around Omaha, they have not treated these teams in Omaha like they are a threat to them very much. And so I think you'll start to see that fan base sweat a little bit. You start to make Jay Johnson make some tough decisions on his pitching staff. I think that's what you have to do. You have to just kind of force their hand. And you mentioned leaving Gabe Gackle for Thursday. That's what I hope they're doing. That's what I think they're doing. But I also will not be surprised if Gabe Gackle comes in and closes out this game tonight if Arkansas feels like they need him.
Yeah, they've got to win. They must win. Well, we look forward to the coverage inside Arkansas. Andrew Ellis, of course, you guys are down there in Omaha. John Neighbors and Curtis Wilkerson. Let everybody know how to follow you.
Yeah, our YouTube channel, Inside Arkansas, I feel like is the one-stop shop for everything. We have our own podcast feeds. The Bombastic Podcast is our baseball podcast that I host. Pot at the Palace with our guy Curtis Wilkerson, about as good as it gets. I mean, he's so good as a basketball guy. And so that's, we've got our own different feeds, but it's all under the same umbrella of this Inside Arkansas YouTube channel, which has been blowing up here. It's been crushing the last several months. So we're going to keep it rolling and keep having some fun in Omaha for as long as they'll let us.
Absolutely, man. Have fun and
Yes.
appreciate it. Thank
Enjoy
you,
it.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
All right. Got to get a break in. Wrap it all up with your tomorrow's headlines next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The Braves roll into the 2025 season with a singular focus. Bring home the division title and remind the league what Atlanta is all about.
Swung on, driven to left center field and deep. That baby's out of here. Austin Riley. 3-0 to Olsen, and he powers one. Deep right center field to the wall. It's gonna fly. It's a home run. Back-to-back homers.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
All good things must come to an end. That holds true for employee pricing too. Hey folks, it's Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. The last day for employee pricing is going to be July 7th. Up until then, you can buy the new Ford you want and pay what we pay. We've got nearly 150 F-150s to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Had your eye on a Bronco Sport? It's employee priced, and we've got over 60 to choose from. Full-size Bronco, we've got over 40. New shipments of Explorer, Expedition, and Escape have just hit the ground, too. Again, all things must come to an end, and the last day for employee pricing is July 7th. Time to hit it and get it. Employee pricing can save you up to thousands off MSRP. With over 600 Fords to choose from, there's a good chance you'll find exactly what you need. Woody Anderson Ford. It's important to see us before July 7th.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Beat the Mutts. That's the message.
Yep.
Well, they did it last night. They being the Atlanta Braves. We talked about it in hour one. They will try to do it again tonight. There at Truist Park, 6:15 first pitch. Chris Sale on the mound. Remember, the Atlanta Braves kind of jockeyed their rotation a little bit last week so that they could line it up for this series this week.
Yeah.
And Chris Sale will go to the mound for the Atlanta Braves, and Paul Blackburn will go to the mound for the New York Mets tonight. Blackburn, a 6.75 ERA, does not have a win or a loss so far
hopefully
this
he'll
year.
Have an L after tonight.
You can watch the game
No, I can't.
on SNY. Yeah. Or maybe wherever you can watch the game for the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, my friend has FUBU.
Well,
Not to close.
Invite yourself.
All right.
Bring some barbecue. Go watch the Atlanta Braves.
I can assure you of one thing. On July the 3rd, there will not be a Philip Fulmer sighting at Brian Ritchie's house.
Or a Carl Ravitch.
Hell no. God almighty.
Maybe we could get Carl Ravitch to broadcast our barbecue.
Well, Rich, what are you thinking about here? What are you thinking about here? What number is it? How long do you do your ribs, Rich?
Oh, don't forget the
What about
Talking
the
Ball
brisket, Rich?
barbecue set for July 3rd. If you want to come, we're inviting you July 3rd.